Namaste everybody, welcome to the YogaCandi YouTube channel. My name's Candace and today I have a class that's suitable for all levels, and it's really going to be a great class for breastfeeding mums or anybody who's just feeling achy and just needs something to release tired, fatigued muscles. We're just going to take it really gentle. There's not going to be anything too strenuous in today's class. It's mostly going to be stretching, but it's not going towards yin yoga. It's still sticking with the vinyasa feel, but just holding poses a little longer and just enjoying breaths together. So guys, I recommend having some yoga blocks handy. If you don't have them, that's fine. I do recommend you buy some, get some foam or cork yoga blocks, something like that. You can get them cheap on Amazon. If you don't have these, then grab a couple of thick cushions, maybe quite firm cushions if you have anything like that. It's just going to help ease you into some of the positions that we're going to release some stress and tension from the body and from the mind too. So let's begin. We're going to start off at the back of the mat. Just start in a kneeling position, on your heels. Sit up tall, hug your belly button back. Release your shoulders, roll them back and down, and close your eyes. Start to find a deep breath here, sending that breath all the way to the chest, all the way down into the lower part of your belly. I'm going to take some breathing exercises together. You can change seating position if you need to. You can always sit cross-legged if that's more comfortable, or even in hero pose with your feet, your heels on the outside edges of your thighs and your knees are touching, heels outside edges. You can kneel, you can sit cross-legged. So find yourself in a comfortable place, closing the eyes, breathing in and out of the nostrils. On your inhales, balloon the belly. Exhale, hug the belly back tight towards the spine. Keep going for 5 deep breaths. Inhale, balloon the belly. Exhale, hug it back. Five at your own pace. Inhale, balloon. Exhale, hug back. Taking one more deep breath. Sticking with those deep breaths, just start to roll your head from shoulder to shoulder. Changing the position of the legs. Maybe you want to come onto all fours for a second and just rotate the feet, so moving them in circles, and maybe stretch one leg behind you and then stretch the other. So let's find a kneeling position if you weren't already in that position. We're going to take some side body stretches. Inhale the right arm up and over the right ear. leaning over towards the left. Tilt your chest so that your chest is facing the sky. You can bend into the left elbow and maybe rest your head into the palm of your right hand, just stretching through the right side body. Try to keep your breath nice and deep. And now find big circles with that right arm. Look forwards as it comes forward, and inhale as it goes up to the sky. You can go as fast or as slow as you like. Just feeling through all the parts of the body that feel tired and achy. Take one more circle. And let's send it to the other side, taking our left arm up and over the left ear. Let's tilt the body towards the sky, look up. Breathe deep. And finding those arm rotations, just feeling it out. Inhale as the arm reaches the sky. Exhale as it comes down. Taking one more big circle. Come into a neutral position. Your feet may be feeling a little tender now. This is definitely yoga for the feet when we're kneeling. So let's come on forward into our all four position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Extend through the right leg. Keep the right leg nice and straight behind you and find a rocking motion so that you're stretching out through the calf. You're trying to almost get your heel to go down towards the ground. Now, of course, that's completely impossible, but just the action of this will stretch your calf and the back of the leg ever so slightly. And then back into all fours. Let's do the same with the other side. So straighten through the left leg and try to bounce forwards and backwards. As your heel goes down towards the ground, you'll feel that stretch. Back into all fours. We're going to take 3 cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, arch, tuck the chin and the tailbone. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, arch, tuck the chin and the tailbone. One more. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, arch. Extend your arms, take them out in front of you and bring your forehead to the ground. If this is not possible, place your forehead onto your prop just to lift it up a little. Come up onto the fingertips and keep your elbows nice and straight and lifted off the ground. Breathe deeply into this pose. Keep your shoulders away from the ears. And roll yourself back into a tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees underneath hips. Inhale, right arm to the sky, look up. Take this right hand and take a little grip of the left hip bone if possible. Opening up through that shoulder. Giving a little stretch through the chest. Breathe deep. Start to drop your head towards your left shoulder, so you're getting a stretch through the neck and through the shoulder. And then release. Inhale the right arm to the sky. Thread it underneath your left arm. Come down to the shoulder and inhale your left hand to the sky, and then maybe you can take a grip on the inside edge of the right thigh. If that's not possible, just place the hand onto your sacrum or onto your bum. Wherever that hand can go, just enjoy the stretch. You can even place it on the floor beside you. Keep tilting the chest towards the sky. And breathe into that shoulder. And release. Plant the left hand on the ground, push yourself up. Give your body a little wiggle, so maybe making some circles with the hips. And then circle in the opposite direction. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to be in our tabletop. Inhale the left hand to the sky, look up. You can actually stay here, or you can find a grip of the right thigh bone, hip bone, sorry. And breathe into it, maybe dropping the head very slightly and gently towards the right shoulder. If that's too intense, keep the head slightly lifted. Feeling a stretch through the shoulder blade, through the front of the shoulder, down through the neck. And then inhale, lift the hand to the sky, thread it underneath the right arm, coming down to the shoulder blade. You can keep your right arm where it is. You can take it to your sacrum, or maybe find a grip of the inside edge of your left thigh. Breathe deeply. Release that right arm, place it beside you, push yourself back into a tabletop. Tuck your toes, and we're going to send our hips up to the sky for our first downward facing dog. Rest your head between your arms. Externally rotate your shoulders so that you're trying to pull your shoulder blades apart. Hug your belly button back towards your spine. Send your tailbone to the sky. And don't worry if your heels are lifted. Just stay there. Make sure that you're feeling a little stretch through the hamstrings. And you can always bend your legs as much as needed. Close your eyes. Let's take 3 deep breaths in downward facing dog. start to walk your feet very slowly to the top of the mat, bending them as much as you need to. Bring your big toes together, heels about 1 inch apart, grabbing onto each elbow, just hang heavy. Stretching through the spine, all the way down to the hips and through the backs of the hamstrings. Hang heavy like a rag doll. If it feels good, you can find a little rocking motion. You can stay here, or you can interlace your fingertips behind your back and allow your arms to fall up and over your head. Stretching through the chest. Keep your breath deep. You can draw your palms together or allow them to fall open. Just play around with hand placement and find what feels good here. If you have your hands interlaced, just release that lacing of the hands, allow them to come down. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, look forwards, hands to your shins. Exhale, fold. Walk your feet hip distance apart and come onto the knife edge of the feet. If this is too much, you can always grab your block and come up a little higher like this. So we're on the knife edge of the feet, and this is going to stretch the outside edges of the legs. Just breathing here. The stretch can be quite intense, so just feel it out. It's not an area of the body that gets touched very often. And place your feet back down, maybe just bend and straighten through the legs. Now walk your feet as wide as your mat, toes pointing outwards, heels inwards, sending your tailbone down to the ground in our yogi squat. So taking the elbows, pressing the knees apart. If this is too much, you can always sit on your block or on a couple of cushions and just sit like this. Maybe your heels won't touch the ground, and that's okay. You can have your heels lifted. Opening up through the hips. If you're a breastfeeding mother, this is so wonderful because we spend a lot of time sitting, feeding our babies. Quite often our legs are crossed. So we're not opening the hips very much. There's a lot of sitting going on. Whether or not you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding, it's the same thing. So pressing those knees open. Try to keep your spine nice and long. Hug your belly button back towards your spine and just take a couple more breaths here. Okay, place your hands on the ground, stepping your left foot back. Keep your right foot where it is, but square it off so that the right toes are facing the long edge of the mat. So we're now in a runner's lunge. Just find a little bounce in your runner's lunge, stretching out the psoas muscle here on the left side. Again, it's so good for people who spend a lot of time sitting, or maybe you're just tired from some cardio you've been doing. If you're a nursing mother, then you'll know this will feel very, very good. If that's too much, remember to use your block. Come up onto your block. Just be very gentle with your body. Make sure there's no pain. Only a really nice stretch feeling, not pain. If there's any sharp pain, you need to come back a little. Maybe come up onto your blocks. Maybe just rest in a child's pose. Okay, moving your hands a little forward. We're coming into our pigeon pose. Take the right knee behind the right hand and take the right foot behind the left hand. Start to send your bum down to the ground. This isn't accessible to everybody, so the closer this heel is towards your left hip bone, the easier the pose will be. This is another hip opener. Or you can sit your hips, your right hip up onto your block or onto a cushion. Point your toes and then engage the toes so that the toes are facing the long edge of the mat, just to keep the knee safe. Stay up on your fingertips to start with. Maybe find a little wriggle. Try to keep your hips squared so your hip bones are facing forwards. Just breathe here. Now, if it's possible for your body, you can always place your forearms onto a block leaning forwards. If that's as far as you can go, you can stay here, or you can always bring your arms down to the ground, maybe even your forehead. So wherever you are, let's all take 3 deep breaths together. Push yourself up, plant your hands shoulder distance, tuck the back toes, lift the back leg and the bum off the ground. Step back into a plank just very briefly and then step this left foot forward. So we're in a runner's lunge now. It may take you a little while to get into this position, and that's okay, take your time. So the left foot is on the outside edge of the left hand. And once again, maybe find a bouncing motion. Stretching out the psoas muscle on the right side this time. Keep the breath deep. Okay, walk your hands a little forward. And bring this left knee behind the left hand and the left toes behind the right hand. Remember, the closer the heel is towards the body, the easier this hip opener will be. Send your bum down to the ground so that your sit bone is almost on the floor. Obviously it's behind you, but you're just pressing it down as far as you can go. Don't worry if your bum's a bit lifted. It may be more comfortable to sit on your prop, so put the prop underneath your left hip bone. The back leg is nice and straight. You can stay up on the fingertips just like this. You can just stay here breathing, keeping the shoulders back and down. Or you can rest your forearms onto your blocks, or all the way onto the ground, or maybe even bring your forehead to the floor, resting over the top of that leg. Find the position that works for your body. Don't force anything at all, especially if you're a nursing mother. You still have the relaxin hormone running through your body, which means your body is a little more flexible than it was before you gave birth. But it can be deceiving. It can mean that you can pull a muscle much easier than before you gave birth to your baby. So be gentle with your body. Remember, a sharp pain means there's something that you need to pull back on, that you've gone too far. From here, let's take 3 deep breaths together. And then push yourself up if you're lying down on the ground. And this time we're going to rotate onto that left hip and swing our right leg forward. Extend the legs out long in front of you. Now you can bend your knees as much as you need to. If you can get them straight, then that's great. And just start to fold forward in a forward fold. Resting your head either onto your legs or onto a block or onto a cushion if you have one. So wherever you are, keep your shoulders away from your ears and try to keep your spine long, nice and straight. Don't worry if you can't touch the heels, you can just sit forward and be where you are as long as you can feel a hamstring stretch here. Keep your toes engaged, pointing up towards the sky. Together, let's take 5 deep breaths. And release, coming on up. Place your feet hip distance apart, bending the knees, taking your hands 1 inch or 2 behind you, shoulder distance. We're going into reverse tabletop, which is a beautiful stretch for the shoulders. So we're going to inhale, lift the hips up to the sky and rest your head back, looking back behind you. Squeeze your glutes and keep your knees in line with your hips. Feeling that stretch through the shoulders. If this is not possible, just take a different stretch, maybe stay in your forward fold. Breathing here, let's take 3 deep breaths. And slowly release the bum to the ground first. And then very last, you bring your head up nice and slowly. Draw the inner soles of your feet together in butterfly pose. I'll face you. And allow your knees to fall open. So just allow them to fall open. Some people may have very tight legs, thighs, I can't talk today, hips, and they may be lifted up here, and that's okay. So just stay up nice and tall, holding onto your shins or onto your feet, or maybe place your hands behind your back and just be as forward as you can, so long as you can feel a slight stretch on the inner thighs into the hip bones. But if you're a little more open, then allow your knees to be open and be where you want to be. Maybe it feels good to find some rocking motions slowly from side to side, so that you're getting the hip bones, but you're also getting the side body a little bit as well. As you roll over to the left, you may be able to feel a little bit of a release down into the hip bone, which can feel really, really good. And then maybe roll over to the right and do the same thing, feeling that stretch through the down into the hip bone on the left. You can take this rocking motion as slowly or as fast as you like, just feeling out your body, making this flow a little bit yours as well. If you're rocking from side to side like me, just take 1 more. And depending on your flexibility, you may want to change it up once more and place your forehead onto a block coming all the way down. If you can go even further, then you can just come all the way down to the ground, allowing your hips to open up even more. So be where you are. You may still be sitting up with your knees a little lifted, and that's fine. Let's all together take 5 more deep breaths in this pose. slowly bring yourself all the way up. Hug your knees towards your body just for a moment. And then finding a cross-legged position, any position of your choice. We're going to extend through the right hand, take the fingertips to the floor, drop your shoulders down and back, and rest your head towards the left shoulder. So you're getting a stretch down the right side of the neck. You may even feel it all the way down to the fingertips, depending on how tight you are today. Breathe deeply. And now engage the hands, so keeping the elbow locked, lift the fingertips off the ground, keeping your head where it is. So you're always trying to get your fingertips to point up to the sky. Spread your fingertips really wide and you'll feel a stretch all the way through, especially through that middle finger. And start to lift the arms slowly, maybe in line with your shoulder. When you feel a really good stretch, that's where you want to stop and just feel it out. You can feel quite a strong pull, maybe even through the elbow joint and all the way through the fingers. So good, because we spend so much time on our phones, and if you're a nursing mother, you know just holding the baby in that position, it fatigues your hand. So I hope this is feeling good for you guys. Just one more breath. And then very slowly as you can, start to lower that hand down to the ground. And then roll your head over towards the right shoulder. Just take a couple of rolls here and we're going to do the same on the other side. Back to center. Change the position of the legs. So whichever way your legs were crossed, just cross them the other foot on top. Let's do the same on the other side, taking the left fingertips down to the ground, locking the elbow, keeping that arm nice and straight. Drop the shoulder blades down and a little bit back. And then drop your head towards your right shoulder. You may notice this side is a little more intense, or maybe it was the other side that was more intense. Whichever side is more used, you're going to feel it even more. So close your eyes, breathe into this, just feel that sensation. Now with the elbow locked, head where it is, keep it there. Start to turn your fingertips. You're trying to get them to look at the sky. And very, very slowly start to lift that arm. When you feel a sweet spot, you can stay there and just breathe it through. Maybe you want to get to the point where your hand is almost in line or in line with your shoulder. Spreading those fingertips, really, really trying to get those fingers to face the sky. So maybe engage it even more. Feeling that intense stretch all the way through the fingers, counteracting all of the bad things that we do in our generation. Just one more deep breath here. And then very slowly as you can, taking those fingertips back down towards the ground. Place them into your lap and roll your head a couple times. Just from shoulder to shoulder, nice and slowly. And back to center. Okay, We're going to make our way down to the ground now. So taking feet hip distance, knees bent, roll yourself vertebrae by vertebrae all the way to the floor. We're just going to take a little mini back bend to start with, bridge pose. Taking the arms alongside the body, knees are in line with the hips, feet are a couple of inches away from your bum. Place your hands onto the floor, tuck your shoulder blades underneath you and inhale, lift your hips up to the sky, squeeze your glutes and keep your knees in line with your hips. Don't allow them to fall open. You can maybe interlace your hands behind your back, sending your chest even higher and your hip bones even higher. Send them as high as you can. Taking 3 breaths here in our bridge pose. And then very slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, bringing your back all the way down to the ground. Try to almost feel each vertebrae making contact with the floor, which may mean you need to slightly tuck your tailbone as you get lower and lower. Wonderful. We're going to find one more chest opener, and this is where your props are going to come in really, really handy. So grab your props. We're going to make a T shape with them. You can use, if you've got blocks, use them on the lowest level if you're a beginner. If you've been doing yoga for a little while, then maybe put them on a slightly higher level, so the second level up, not the tallest. So the T shape, you've got it's like a capital T. The T is at the top. And we want to lie our spines down onto this. So take your legs either out long in front of you, or you can take them into that butterfly pose, allowing your knees to fall open. Come down onto your forearms. You may have to maneuver around a little bit here. You want to get the bottom of your shoulder blades to be in line with the end of the first block. So you don't want that first block to be resting on your lower spine or even on the mid spine. You want it between the shoulder blades. And then once you've got it there, start to lie back. And then you may need to move that other block that you're going to rest your head onto a little further towards yourself or a little further back. So now you've got your whole chest lifted up to the sky. You're opening up through the rib cage. Making breathing a little easier and giving you a back bend. Okay, so from here, to open up through the chest and to really feel the stretch, take your arms together in front of you, bring your elbows together. So you're going to open your arms out into a cactus position and just allow them to fall open. Just allow them to give into gravity and to fall down towards the floor. It can be fairly intense, especially if you're a nursing mother or someone who does some sort of exercise that uses the arms and the chest a lot. It may not be very open, this part of your body. As long as there's no intense pain, then you're doing a really good job. So close your eyes and we're just going to breathe here. Nice deep breaths. Taking one more deep breath here. Start to relax the arms and bring them back towards the body, take them to your belly. Get up very slowly. So we're going to place our forearms onto the ground. Lift your head off the blocks and start to lift your chest, pushing yourself back up into a seat. Just move your blocks aside. And we're going to lie down onto our spines once again. So just make your way onto your back. From here, we're going to take a couple of spinal twists. So open your arms out into a T shape. Cross your right leg on top of your left leg either once or twice, totally up to you. And send your tailbone towards the right side of the mat, allowing your legs to fall to the left, and then take your gaze to the right. So you're in a spinal twist. In this twist, we're just going to lie here, close our eyes and breathe. Try to draw this right shoulder blade down towards the ground to get a little deeper into your twist. Take one more deep breath here. Inhale your knees back to the center. Uncross the legs. We're going to take it over to the other side, crossing the left leg either once or twice on top of the right, and sending the tailbone towards the left side of the mat just a little bit, dropping the legs to the right. Taking our gaze to the left, taking this twist. Consciously draw this left shoulder down to the ground. And breathe into the pose. Just enjoy this moment of silence, feeling out the body. Take one more deep breath here. Inhale your knees back to center. Untwist the legs. We're coming into our final resting pose. Now, if you're a mother like me, then please try not to skip this, guys. I know it kind of feels like a waste of time, but honestly, it's probably the best part of yoga. It's the part that we need to practice the most, which is silence of the mind. Just finding this moment of mindfulness. So extend your legs, keep your feet just slightly wider than hip distance. Tuck your shoulder blades under your body. Palms face the sky. Your hands are a few inches away from the body. Face your face to the sky. I'll talk us through a moment of relaxation, just a body scan to help you relax and quieten your mind. Relax the forehead. Breathe naturally. Relax the space between your eyebrows. Relax the eyelids. Relax your cheekbones all the way through into your jaw. Relax the neck. The head becomes heavier. Relax your shoulders and all the way down the arms to the palms. Relax your fingers and all the way up to your shoulders. Relax through the chest, all the way down into the belly. Relax your hip bones. Relax your pelvic floor. And all the way down your thighs to your knees. Relax all the way through the shins to the heels. Relax through the soles of the feet and through every toe. Relax the whole body. Become aware of its weight and the spaces between the parts of the body that touch the floor. Breathe naturally and relax. Quieten the mind. If any thoughts come into your mind, allow them to pass. From here, wiggle your fingertips and your toes, keeping the eyes closed. And then rotate the hands and the feet in one direction, and then in the other. Inhale your hands above your head and stretch through the body. And slowly, with the eyes closed, make your way onto the side body. And slowly make yourself into a seated position, eyes still closed. Sit up tall through the spine. Take your hands to your chest and prayer. Bow your head. Namaste, everybody. You can open your eyes. I really hope that you found this class enjoyable, and I hope it's left you feeling a little lighter in your body. I know it has for me, so I hope it has for you too. Guys, if you have any requests and if you really enjoy these much more gentle classes, then let me know and I can always create more of them. Sometimes we think that we need to always power through yoga classes, but actually yoga can also be this really beautiful, just very peaceful experience. The actual asana part of the yoga doesn't have to be always working on the core or on the arm strength, because that's more going towards exercise. Sometimes we need it for just our everyday peace, you know. We don't get much of it throughout the day, so this can be maybe the time that you take to really hone in on mindfulness, and it makes you a better person, it makes you a better mother, it just brings out your true nature as well. And if you guys enjoy my classes, please do subscribe, please leave a thumbs up and share. All these things just really help the channel to grow, and it just helps me continue making these classes for you. And if you would like to, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, the links are below in the description, and you can also sign up for my free ebook on YogaCandi.com. If you sign up to that newsletter, you get the ebook in your welcome letter, and that will just help you with any poses that maybe you're just not so sure of, you're not sure if you're doing them correctly, whatever it may be. So let me know in the comments how you guys got on. And without further ado, until next time, namaste.